Hey everybody, it's Gypsy, and today is Saturday, August 31st, 2024. It is time for my weekly gardening update. Today will be the last time I do it on Saturday until, well, next August. So I will be doing it on Friday, starting next week. So stay tuned. Okay, everybody, we're going to start in the cottage garden. And in here, I have cleaned it up, weeded, and I pulled out any annuals. They were on their last legs. I have started making just these little plant markers just out of paint sticks. Let's see what else. Oh, most important thing, I started working on the wattle fence going around. So I have to keep adding to that. I'm going to add to the other side too, and then get that gate in here. So I really love my cottage garden. I do. I love the way it's coming. I put in more pavers that I have found in that area in our yard. So I'm going to keep looking for more. Just keep adding it. It's a mishmash, but I love the look. The mint in there's looking iffy these days. I did just take a bunch of it to make some tea though. Let's see. The pumpkins are doing great. The yard has been infested with rust, cedar apple rust. So, things aren't looking great, but they're still producing. I have 2 pumpkins. There's the first one that are ripe. I have many more coming, and there's more blossoms in here. Don't know if you noticed the bee flying by a second ago. The gourds, there's baby gourds hanging down. There's a more mature one. I think this plant I'm growing for my daughter-in-law. I think by the time I see her, probably the end of September, maybe even beginning of October, I'll have some gourds for her. So yeah, it's doing really good. Everything's doing good. Yeah, there's a bee doing his busy bee work. And here is the second pumpkin. It's just about right. These are sugar pumpkins. They are used for baking. So baking and cooking. Into the greenhouse. Oh wait, let's check on our Paris Market carrots. Are coming up really nice. I'm going to have to start thinning those out soon. These are a 1-inch around carrot, orange. Beautiful, delicious, sweet. I love it. Perfect to grow in pots. So if you live in an apartment or a small space, keep those in mind. Here I harvested my russet potatoes. We had some last night for dinner. They were very good. And I put in some sweet potato slips. I don't know if it's too late in the year or what's going to happen to them. But when it starts getting colder, in about a month or the end of September, I'm going to put these in the greenhouse. And speaking of the greenhouse, there we go. This is the tomato jungle. Let's see. I have another rooted plant I'm going to plant in here. So we have reached that time in the year where pretty much it's basically early fall here, even though it's August 31st in this area. It's, things are starting to switch to fall. So I'm going to start pulling some stuff up that aren't producing or are at the end of their life cycle. So my tomatoes way back in the corner there, they are just not getting flowers on them anymore. I will be pulling those up. Maybe a couple other tomato plants, I'm not sure. My flamencos and Mexico midgets over here, they're still producing, so I'm gonna leave those. But everything's going great. In the greenhouse, I don't know, even if I don't get any sweet potatoes are such a pretty plant. And over here, the Tom Thumb peas, which I also have to start thinning out a little bit, I think, are doing fantastic. These are the ones Obviously, you can do them in planters, and they only get about 8 inches tall. That's why you can do them in planters. Delicious. Snap pea, very, very good. So let's go into the outdoor garden. Look at my sunflower. Isn't it gorgeous? I just love these sunflowers. Are just so beautiful. Okay, so a lot has been going on in here. Like I said, I've been treating everything for rust because, as you can see, like on my lima beans over there, it's just spread all over. I'm surrounded by woods, and I think that's the problem. So this week, I cleaned up my brassica buds and thinned out my brassicas. These are the Brussels sprouts. Doing fantastic. Believe it or not, my third attempt at growing cabbage, looking good. Finally. The broccoli over there is looking beautiful too. So I think with brassicas, besides kale I have no problem growing in the spring too. But the other brassicas, it's just going to be fall from now on. My peppers are doing really good. I have picked, I had a jalapeno on there. I have 2 I picked, which were a little bit bigger than like that one there because I'm going to make salsa. These are my chocolate beauties, and I can't wait. I keep waiting. This is the first one to show up. I'm waiting for them to turn. Gorgeous chocolate color. I have my other peppers here. These are all types of bell peppers here. I have, let's see. These are, I just picked my big banana pepper. I think this is banana pepper. So I picked one because to add to the salsa. But peppers are doing great. I was worried about those because their growth was stunted. And I didn't think I would get peppers this year. So over here I have my radicchio coming up. And I think that's doing really, really good. Lima beans. They do have rust, as you can see here, but they are producing. You know, the earliest pods that were ready to pick, I just shelled them and I stuck them in the freezer. So I did taste one raw and it's very, very sweet, very good. My green beans are doing great. They're getting flowers, so pretty soon we'll have green beans. And let's see. Over here, kale, let me see if I can get you in here, has just started popping up. Let me see. Okay, let's go here. You can see that. They're just coming up. I find kale, especially this, I think this is the blue curled leaf or whatever, very easy to grow. Oops. Push back here. As you can see, the Grandma Hadley's is coming along great. My asparagus is doing so good, it's getting out of hand. So I got to do something about that because I'm tripping over it. So, anyways, my tomato plants look like shit. I'm assuming it is from the rust, but I'm not sure. It could be the same situation that I learned yesterday about my cucumbers, so I don't know. But rust is really bad here, so I don't know. I am still getting not new tomatoes out here, but these are ripening on the vine, as you can see. These here are the beefy boys, and I had that huge one that ripened. We picked it the other day and had it on hamburgers. I've also been making tomato sandwiches for lunch. So good. That one weighed in at 1 1/4 pounds. I have more coming here. Delicious, very, very good. And you can see all the rust on the leaves. So anyways, these are going to be on their way out. These are my shelling peas. These are called green arrow peas. These are very good and they are doing really well. I think these are the ones I'm going to grow. when I start getting grandbabies, my daughter-in-law and I talked about this, we're going to grow the vegetables and make baby food, homemade baby food. So I think I'm going to be using green arrows. I like those. These are the Amish snap peas. I have to start attaching those to the fence because, as you can see, they're getting crazy. These are the purple carrots. They're very good. They're delicious. They grow really nice. They're doing, I can't believe how much faster and better they grow. They look healthier in the fall than they do in spring. So those are doing good. I love asparagus fern. They're so beautiful. Of course, I left my rake here. You know me with the cane. Smart move. Anyways, so this is what was once my beautiful cucumber plant. Well, I assumed it was the rust that made all the leaves fall off because all of this started after we had all these tornadoes. So I saw a post in one of my gardening groups on Facebook, and this woman was asking, does anybody else's cucumber plants look like they're on their last legs? I'm in Northeast Ohio. And I was like, oh my God, yes, mine. It's like really looking awful. And I said, not that, just a couple weeks ago, it looked beautiful, and now it looks terrible. And I said, I'm also in Northeast Ohio. I was reading the responses. Everyone in Northeast Ohio said the same thing about their cucumber plants. So I don't know if this is really from rust or it's just the natural aging process. And we live in a cold climate, and it is that time of year. I don't know. I don't know how much I'm going to get off here. I don't know if these little ones are going to grow any further. I have picked all of the bigger ones. These are pickling cucumbers, so they don't get, you don't wait till they get huge anyways. So what I'm thinking, I also have these flowers. I don't know if they're going to produce or not, but what I'm thinking is I might take these little tiny pickles that I have all over the place and do like those little mini pickles, make those. Cucumbers I meant over here, but you know what I'm talking about? And then pull this up. This needs to be pulled up. When I get the tomatoes from there, I could do it. I could let those ripen in the house, but I don't know if I want to. If they're done, they are definitely, as soon as possible, getting pulled up. These tomatoes over here, they're doing a little better, except they keep flopping over. They've gotten so big. Excuse me while I snack. But these are getting pulled up soon. They're doing better than the other ones across, but they do have the rust really bad. So I'm going to be doing a lot of garden cleanup this week. And then also next week I have to plant things like radishes and stuff like that. So I think I have radish and spinach. Spinach I think I have next to plant next week. And then I'll put in my garlic when it gets later in the fall. And I'll be done planting outside for, this season. So, the first things to get hit with the rust were my blueberry bushes. I was heartbroken. I have put copper fungicide on everything. I cannot keep up with picking off the bad leaves and picking them up and throwing them away because, as you can see, they're all over the place. Because, the maples and everything in the woods, you have them too. But I think, if I'm seeing this right, I have some leaves here that are starting to look better. So I have to treat everything with the copper once a week. Hoping I could save my blueberry bushes. This bush here was not as bad as the other one, but it was worse than this the other day. So I think the copper might be working. Red raspberries did not get affected And as you can see, they're still growing like crazy. They're producing little babies, which are growing. They're like monsters, you know, like some kind of Frankenstein monster. They grow so quickly. These are my wild black raspberries. Doing great. They don't seem to be affected by the rust. Strawberries, of course, I do have them covered with netting, because if I didn't, you know, the birds would eat all the berries. Doing fantastic. Okay, these are my originals back here. I made a new bed down here. These are the runners. I'm just going to keep putting my runners down here because next spring I will be selling them. I will probably also be selling raspberry plants. I'm thinking we reopen next weekend, as I said. I think it's going to be too late for cucumbers, but I may start selling the sugar pumpkins at my booth. Maybe do some lettuce and other cole crops. So, yeah, don't mind my mess in the yard. I have been trying to clean up the leaves, the rust leaves. But it keeps raining constantly around here. Every time I start something, it starts raining. And I think this rain is affecting my respiratory system here too. Anyways, I'm just so excited about my pumpkins. Everything is, you know, for the most part, it's going good. And despite the rust situation, I think it's going great. I have a mess of tomatoes in the house. I have a bunch in the freezer I'm going to make into sauce. I have some peppers and tomatoes on the counter that I'm going to be using for salsa. And I think I pretty much finished up pickling the last of my pickles. So I've been busy. And it's so funny. The other day, I wake up from a dream. I think all of this has become an obsession for me because I had a dream that I was making homemade tomato juice, and I was teaching others how to make homemade tomato juice. And I think because I love doing this so much, I had that dream. I also love to teach others. I am surrounded by young families, and I know one young man, he is constantly asking me gardening questions. And I was teaching him about cold crops because you know how we're all brainwashed into believing that we cannot plant anything until at the very least mid-May. And then at this time of the year you stop growing and you grow nothing else. And I got out of the brainwashing. This year I started growing in March outside. And so I was teaching him about that. And I think I might just start giving the young people lessons on gardening in a cold climate to get the most crops out. So I think I had that dream because it has become an obsession for me to leave this knowledge behind. Because I guess I'm getting up there, and I guess maybe I'm considered the older generation. I was born the last year of the baby boomers, at the end of that year. So I just feel like responsible for teaching the young people to carry this on. And I think that's why I had that dream. I don't know if you can see that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I love pumpkin flowers. Gotta catch them early in the morning, otherwise they're gone. So, anyways, I think I'm going to leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.